time, which was a very distinct possibility. Like, I found out later that he took off work early to start packing his go bag.
Right.
That didn't end up happening, but yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but it was weird because I actually heard it on the radio on the way home, which at the time was literally like a 5-6 minute drive. Because we lived about a half mile from the school. Half of that is, just, getting out of the school.
Right. So, in honor of September 11th, my first story, besides the whole beard and hair and haircut thing, is about something that I was, because I was at a loss. I'm like, I need to do something because today's September 11th. I want to do something, and I started Google searching, and I actually found it at like a trip planning site, and it says September 11th Memorial Events 2017. And so I guess there are several events in Washington D.C. Sorry, it's in Washington D.C., Maryland, and North Virginia. And there's they're just different events in different states. One of them is National Day of Service, September 11, 2017. Thousands of volunteers serve at more than 50 nonprofit organizations. As part of United We Stand, participants will clean parks, revitalize playgrounds, sort food for the hungry, and much more. The Pentagon Memorial commemorates the 184 lives lost in the Pentagon. A day's lost. I'm jumping lines. Yeah, in the
How
Pentagon.
about you just talk a little more and, like, read ahead and then talk about it? Like, do you not know how this works?
I do.
I know you're not as quick of a reader as I am. That's
I've been doing anyway.
But you're standing here just.
Will you stop?
No.
So,
I am the comedic relief here. Like, we're talking about some heavy stuff here.
We are. Do you want me to make it heavy here? I can make it heavier. I decided not to play this one.
Let's not. Let's not.
There you go. Anyway, I told you I could make it heavier. No, anyway, so it was the 184 lives lost in the Pentagon and American Airlines Flight 77 during the terrorist attacks. It is a free and open to the public 24 hours a day, and special services held for the families and the victims on September 11th of each year. So this is a yearly thing that happens.
Well, I'd assume so.
And there's a bunch more. I dropped the link down in the description below. There a lot of them are pretty cool. There's a police, fire, and sheriff 9/11 Memorial Day 5K run. There's a Wounded Warrior Project and the Survivors Fund. That's proceeds from the race will go to
Wounded Warrior Project
and this the Survivors Fund.
Yeah.
And then the moment of silence and flags across Arlington. Arlington remembers 9/11. So there's all these really cool things, and to me, the fact that this was on just a TripAdvisor site, it kind of tells me, every year on this day we find ways to commemorate, to think of the people, and pay tribute to them. Will you stop doing that?
I'm not doing nothing.
But yet, how far have we come since that has happened? I feel like we've become a stronger country. And to me, and I just had that revelation when I was reading this. I'm like, yes, every day every every year at this time or on this day, there's all these things going on. But the fact that we, have kind of picked ourselves up and kind of come back from this, and now we're holding runs and different ceremonies, across some of the different places. And I mean, sometimes there's even moments of silence on, the radio, baseball games, things like that. It just makes me. I feel like that was something that, yeah, it was very devastating when it happened, and it still is. It still, it sucks. But I feel like it made us stronger as a country because we kind of came together and we're like, okay, this is not going to happen again. So, any thoughts?
Nothing that you want to hear.
Okay.
I just get cynical.
Anyway, so
if anybody didn't know, I'm a little bitter and jaded about, everything. And I do mean everything. Puppies, kittens, oh yeah.
Anyway, so
puppies.
This was just something fun that it was something to remember the people of.
Yeah, something fun. Sure. Yeah, fun.
Something to commemorate the day, and just kind of tell you what's going on, because some of these things happen every year, and like I didn't know about them. If you guys didn't know about them, now you do. Like the 5K. If you're a runner, if you want to go to, I think that one takes place in DC.
Yeah.
So if you want to go on that run.
Well, there's a lot of local stuff too. Like there's.
Well, yeah, you can. There's things
all over. You're not
gonna
find that on TripAdvisor though.
Right.
Like that's one of the things I'm bitter about. It's like TripAdvisor really.
It wasn't TripAdvisor exactly. It was Trip Savvy. It was like a TripAdvisor
competitor. Like.
Yeah.
I get a little bitter about them, like, taking advantage of the situation, you know what I mean?
Well, this one, they're not really taking advantage of the situation. They're telling people where these events are held, because they're not the ones holding these events. They're just putting them all together into hey, these are all the events going on in Washington, or in these states. So, anyway, I thought it was something to because it was 9/11, I thought we should do something for 9/11, so we did. There it is. The link is the first one in the description below, and because
below there's no video.
What?
Below there's no video. This isn't YouTube.
In the description, there's a description. It doesn't have to be YouTube. There's still a description. Okay. And usually it's below. That's where the description goes. Okay. Anyway, so the next onto the kind of the next story. And this was one that I had to put on because there were some that shocked me and then others that really didn't. But there were or no, sorry, that's later. This is 7 unwritten rules for if you decide to go out and eat. And apparently there's rules that I need to know, so I figure I would learn them with everyone else. Because apparently, if there's some rules that I don't know. So sometimes these lists are just dumb to me, and other times they're actually, they're just already known people, like just to Sam. This was actually from Amp Radio, 96 or 98.7, and I was just scrolling through Facebook and it popped up, and I'm like, oh, this looks cool, so I read it. And you know how they always say, if you're early, you're on time. If you're late, or if you're on time, you're late.
Yeah, if you're not 5 minutes early, you're late.
Right. This one says don't show up 5 minutes early before the restaurant closes. Oh, sorry. Before the restaurant closes, the entire staff will hate you. I thought it just said don't show up 5 minutes. I'm like, that's weird.
Yeah, that's kind of obvious, man.
Right.
Like, don't, give it at least 45 minutes to an hour.
I said some lists like this are obvious rules.
Yeah.
So if you are that person, and coming from 2 people that have worked at a restaurant, please don't show up 5 minutes early.
I cannot guarantee there will not be spit in your food.
Right, you're right. Because these people have been working.
Dang it, people, we want to go home.
I was going to say a lot of these people have been working all day, and they're ready to go home, and they can't kick you out. So, and that includes retail stores as well.
Like, we might forgive you, at least your waiter might forgive you if you give it like a 50% tip.
Well, and at least if you like if you're like, I know you guys are about to close, you acknowledge it, you give them a good tip, and you actually order something. The thing that really bothers me, especially now in retail, is when people come into the store and walk around and they leave without buying anything and they've just held us up for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Because
I work at a 24-hour store, so that's not really an issue, but...
Well, because we have to take our cash down to a certain spot every night. And let me tell you, we can't walk, or we can't do that until
everybody's out
of the store. And then sometimes there's, like the other night, and this is actually the first time it's happened, I had a mountain bore sight that I had to do for someone. And for those of you that don't know what a mountain bore sight is you take a rifle, you put the scope on, and you do what's called bore sight. So you set it up so that whatever you're seeing, or pretty much when you aim the crosshairs of a scope at something, when you shoot, your bullet's going to land where those crosshairs are. And it's a simple way to sight a gun, and there's some fine tuning that you need to do. Anyway, so I had one that I had to do for a guy because he was leaving Sunday. He couldn't come back on Saturday, and this was Friday night. And I held the store up for like 5 minutes because he was still in the store. I got it done, and then I had to still fill out paperwork for it. And not everybody gave me too much crap for that because I actually, it's called sound off. You're supposed to put...
Hey, it's Tyler. Bite me.
Okay. Anyway, so... I kind of held them up, but there are times when there's people who just walk around the store and they literally don't buy anything. They're just walking around. That's when they get really mad.
Well, I mean, your store pretty much looks like a museum, to be completely honest.
I know, but still, if you're gonna walk through a museum, you don't come 5 minutes before. You go,
You'd be surprised.
Anyway, yeah, I really wouldn't because of
humanity is terrible.
Anyway, rule number 2. Don't be the couple that sits in the same side of the booth when it's just the two of you. It's only cute when you're in if you're in the 80s. Otherwise it just seems weird. It's weird.
That sounds like baloney.
What?
I've seen people do that plenty of times. Heck, I've done it, and it never seemed weird.
It's weird.
It's
coming from a person who is in a relationship and has seen it. It's weird.
You may see it as weird. Like, I was never really, especially when I go into a restaurant. Like, I really don't think other people should really be paying attention to what you're doing at the restaurant, unless like.
What do you do at a restaurant?
You eat.
You can also people watch. That's the thing.
That's kind of awkward. Like. It would have to be pretty much a people watching venue. Or one at the mall that's got windows out in the mall. That's fine. You don't just eyeball the guy next to you in the booth over.
No, but if you just look around the restaurant, like maybe you're looking for your waitress and you look past and you see those guys are sitting in the same... I don't know. I guess to me it's a balance thing. Because it's weird seeing...
you have issues.
You do. You have more issues than I do. Anyway.
Yes, but I am not the one that has an issue.
I think it's weird. Number 3 is never try to get a waiter's attention by snapping your fingers at them.
Oh yeah, that's a good way to get your fingers broken.
That one's kind of rare, but they seem to hate that. I've actually had waitresses ignore tables that were snapping at them.
And don't whistle at them like a dog.
No, don't do that either.
Like, I work at a store where I'm a self-checkout attendant. You snap your fingers at me, you whistle at me, it's going to go down.
I just pretend I don't look at you. Pretend I don't see you.
Actually, it was a guy whistling at me straight up like a dog. Like, he was literally, here, boy, here, boy. While I was helping the people next to him who were waiting before him. And luckily, the couple that was there that I was helping to start were some of my regulars. They caught my arm as I was turning.
Right.
I was going to lay him out. That was the closest I've ever come to actually decking a customer.
Well, it's like some people treat people in customer service like their dogs.
Or worse.
Like, there was a gentleman that came in.
And also, don't bring your damn dog to the grocery store.